All right, today we're talking about civil rights timeline. This is a timeline of events in U.S. history up to the point where your U.S. History 1 class leaves off and it introduces you into your U.S. History 2 classes. Okay, so we are going to present a timeline of events that may or may not have helped civil rights and civil rights discussion in the United States. First things first, we start with a little bit of controversy. Okay, did people like Andrew Jackson help civil rights? Okay, we're going to look at why or why not. In any case, we need to look at the positives and negatives of any time we look at a historical figure. Okay, and Andrew Jackson, okay, was a general, and we may claim that him as a general led the charge on some positive things. He may have also led the charge on some negative things. Okay, so we need to kind of review and look to see what he led the charge on. Okay, Andrew Jackson is very similar in a sort to the people that lived around his time period. Okay, so this could be like people like George Washington, and others that might have shared the same moral code. Thomas Jefferson as well. These are going to be some characteristic people that can have a lot of shared elements with Andrew Jackson. Okay, here we go. Let's start with negatives, okay, because Andrew Jackson is going to be deserving of a lot of heat when we start looking at him through history. Hopefully you guys are remembering, okay, yes, he is racist. Okay, and yes, he does own slaves. And yes, he is an expansionist, somebody that was willing to use war in order to take land from others. Okay, he takes Florida from the Spanish Empire. Okay, he also is totally okay using manifest destiny during that time to take land from Native Americans. These are some negative characteristics. And yes, we could use manifest destiny to explain that during Andrew Jackson's time, people back then saw this as more okay than we do now, right? Let's look at some positive characteristics, though, because this is really what United States history, the whole class was about this year, being able to weigh positive and negative characteristics and being able to make your own decision. Andrew Jackson led the charge on the following things. Okay, he was someone that was seen as a self-made man. Okay, he looked at wealth and property requirements in order to vote or be in politics. And something Andrew Jackson does is Andrew Jackson is going to lobby to get rid of wealth and property requirements in order to vote. Okay, this is something that allows any white male 21 years of age or older, and then eventually down to the age of 18, okay, so even age requirements as well, to be able to participate uh, in our republic by using democracy, by using the vote. Okay, this wealth and property requirement is going to be a huge boost to the people that we're going to talk about next. Okay, we're going to start talking about industrialized labor. Okay, and when people make money, we use money, okay, to make so many decisions. You may vote maybe only up to 3 times a year, but you're going to make money decisions that are political decisions. They may have a political basis. You could make an infinite amount of economic or money decisions throughout the year. Another factor with wage labor and industrialization is going to be the factory system. The factory system kind of resembles a classroom. Your desk may be right next to or 3 to 4 feet away from another student during this time. And it doesn't matter what you look like when you are in school. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It doesn't matter uh, how much your parents make. It matters that you are a worker. In school, we would call you a student. This is a unifying factor, right? That everybody is expected to do the same job, okay, in this situation. And while you're working, conversations happen. Conversations about local issues. And when we talk about things, right? So this guy might be saying this thing, this guy might be saying this thing, and this guy might be thinking of a solution. When we talk about things, we find solutions. Okay, and it's actually the factory systems during this time that they start to find solutions for some of their largest problems, okay, like slavery or land expansion, and they start to wonder if their system is the best system and how to move on from that. Okay, so obviously, when we have questions like this, it is totally up to you how you answer this, right? But maybe in some cases, economic opportunities and power does come first. With economic power, then comes political power. And this is going to be something that when we flip the paper over, there's going to be civil rights leaders that have this same opinion. Okay, here we go. So, our next thing is still another bit of review. We are looking at what was more effective in causing good change to happen in US history. Hopefully, this is soon enough that we can review a little bit of conflict in the United States, right? The American Revolutionary War. Okay, War of 1812. And Bleeding Kansas are some examples that we're going to look at. Speeches. This is something that I need you to be able to talk about, right? What was more effective in causing good change? Is it people being willing to act or people being able to talk about things? Okay, so for speeches, if we talk about the American Revolution, we might talk about Patrick Henry's Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death speech. We might talk about the War of 1812 and the effects of the War of 1812 and major ideas like the Monroe Doctrine. Or for nationalism, we might talk about events during the War of 1812, like the national anthem. A song can definitely be considered a speech because it's the main idea. Bleeding Kansas, we might talk about speeches about popular sovereignty. Okay, as we're talking about popular sovereignty and Bleeding Kansas, we definitely need to talk about the Civil War. And we may need to talk for sure about the Gettysburg Address. These are just some of the things we need to have a conversation and have a discussion about what you think was more effective, okay? And how we're going to put that together, okay? There have been things in human history that have been the most important fights that humans have collectively fought for. And these two things, abolition and suffrage, are probably up there with the most important things. So we're just going to define what abolition and suffrage is. Abolition is anybody that wants to end slavery. And suffrage is any expanded voting right. Okay, a suffragist is somebody that wanted to expand voting rights to other groups of people. Okay, so it might be African Americans, it might be other people of color, it might be women, it might be anybody that does not have this right to vote. Okay, these are some of the most important rights. To finish off, there are some rights that are universal, meaning that these rights should be just because you are born as a human, you get these rights. You don't have to fight for them, they are just given. Okay? And we could look back on the start of our class. John Locke says that life, liberty, and the pursuit of property, not the guarantee of property, but the pursuit of property. Oh, pause for a moment, my light shut off. All right, but the pursuit of property and not the guarantee of it, but being able to work for property is a guaranteed right. Thomas Jefferson is going to expand on property because maybe if you have property, or maybe if you don't have property, overall peace in society might be guaranteed by the pursuit of happiness. And this doesn't mean to be working for whatever makes you the most happy, but happiness is a good thing to work for on a daily basis. Okay. What are some other rights as we finish up with this part one of the video? What are some other rights that you think should always be universal for all human beings? Okay,